The water in the temple pool never stayed still. Even in the hour before dawn, when the torches burned low and the priests of Faiyum moved in silence, something beneath the surface always seemed to be watching. The old priest knelt at the edge of the sacred basin, a strip of raw meat balanced on his palms, and asked himself the same question he had asked every morning for 30 years. What do you owe a god who might also devour you? The creature he fed was no ordinary beast. Wrapped in gold bands adorned with a crown of solar discs and upright feathers, Petsuchos was the living body of Sobek himself, the crocodile god who had ruled the waters of Egypt since before memory. To worship him was to hold two truths at once. He was the guardian who kept the river's dangers at bay. He was also, unmistakably, one of those dangers. The priests told a story to explain this contradiction, one passed down long before Crocodilopolis rose from the Faiyum mud. In the beginning, they said, there was nothing but a black and formless water, endless and silent. From that darkness, a mound of earth broke the surface, and upon it Sobek emerged, not born, but simply arriving, already whole, already sovereign. He did not ask permission to rule. He fished the first humans from the depths with his own claws, shaped them into cities, and carved the Nile's course so that it would flood each year in a rhythm the people could set their lives by. The other gods, in this telling, were not his equals but his creation, summoned afterward to help him hold the world together. It was a bold claim for a temple built on a swamp at the edge of the desert, but the people of Faiyum believed it fiercely, because it explained something the more famous myths never quite could: why a crocodile of all things deserved a throne. Elsewhere in the grander stories told along the wider Nile, Sobek appeared not as a creator but as an unlikely ally. When the god Set turned on his own brother Osiris, driven by jealousy of his crown, he lured him into a sealed chest and gave it to the river. Osiris's wife, Isis, found the chest and hid it, but Set discovered her hiding place, and in his fury he broke the body of Osiris apart and scattered the pieces across the land, so that no burial and no return would ever be possible. Isis walked the riverbanks alone after that, searching every reed bed and sandbar for what remained of her husband. It was Sobek who found her there, grieving at the water's edge, and instead of turning away, he waded in himself, plucked one of the lost pieces from where the current would have carried it beyond recovery, and laid it before her. A god built for hunting became for one moment a god of mercy. It was a small act in the larger myth, easy to skip past, but the priests of Faiyum never let it be forgotten. It was proof, they said, that even the most feared power in the river could choose whose side it stood on. That same choice repeated itself nightly, on a far darker stage. Each evening, as the sun sank below the horizon, Ra descended into the Duat, the underworld through which he had to sail before dawn could return. The Duat was no peaceful passage. Serpents and shadow things lined its waters, chief among them Apep, a coiling chaos demon who wanted nothing less than to swallow the sun whole and drown the world in permanent night. Sobek rode at the prow of Ra's bark through that darkness, his jaws the first line of defense against anything that rose from the black water. Night after night, the two of them made the crossing together, and night after night dawn broke because Sobek had held the line. So which was he, creator, rescuer, or soldier in the dark? The priests at Crocodilopolis would have told you it was the wrong question. Sobek was never meant to be only one thing. He was danger and protection wearing the same scales, feared and depended upon in the same breath. Because that was also true of the Nile itself, the river that could drown a village or feed it in the very same season. To live beside that kind of power, the ancient Egyptians understood, was not to tame it. It was to honor it carefully and hope it remembered you kindly. Maybe that's a truth that has outlasted the temples. We still build our lives next to forces we can't fully control. The sea, the market, the systems that hold our world together, trusting them even as we fear what they could do if they turned. The priest at the water's edge understood that better than most. Perhaps that's worth remembering the next time something powerful stands between you and the dark. If Sobek's story pulled you in, stay a while longer. There are older gods and stranger bargains still waiting to be told. Subscribe if you'd like to walk that river again with me.